Yes, I'm everyone, and I share education value from training institute, level one students. Let's start to ChatGPT today, and the topic of the conversation is how to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself. For this, we talk to ChatGPT. Hello, ChatGPT. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well too. How's your day going so far?
It's going good so far. So, ChatGPT, the topic today's topic is how to stay Yes, how to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself. For this, my first question is how to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself. For this, my first question is what are boundaries in a relationship?
That's a great question. Boundaries in relationships are essentially the limits and rules that we set for ourselves to feel safe, respected, and valued. They can be emotional, physical, or even digital. So, setting boundaries helps maintain a healthy balance and ensures that both people feel comfortable and respected.
And what are boundaries important? Why are boundaries important for healthy relationships?
Boundaries are super important because they help protect your well being and ensure mutual respect. When boundaries are clear, it reduces misunderstandings and conflicts, and it allows both individuals to feel safe and valued. It also helps maintain a sense of identity and personal space, which is key for a healthy and balanced relationship.
And how can someone know they need better boundaries?
That's a thoughtful question. You might notice you need better boundaries if you often feel overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or resentful. If you find yourself constantly compromising your needs, or feeling uncomfortable with certain interactions, those can be signs too. Essentially, it's about checking in with yourself and seeing if your needs and comfort are being respected.
And what is the first step to setting healthy boundaries?
The first step is really getting clear on what your needs and limits are. That means taking some time to reflect on what makes you feel comfortable and what doesn't. Once you have that clarity, you can communicate those boundaries openly and respectfully to others. It's definitely a process, but it starts with self awareness.
Okay, and why do people struggle to set boundaries?
There are quite a few reasons. Sometimes people worry about disappointing others or causing conflict, and that fear can make it hard to set boundaries. Other times it's because of a desire to be liked or to avoid confrontation, and sometimes people simply haven't learned how to do it effectively. It's definitely a skill that takes practice and patience.
Okay, and how can someone communicate their boundaries clearly?
The key is to be clear, direct, and respectful. It helps to use I statements like saying, I feel more comfortable when, or I need some time to myself in the evenings. It's also important to stay consistent and calm and to anticipate that it might take some time for others to adjust. And of course, always be open to a dialogue.
And what is an example of a healthy emotional boundary?
A healthy emotional boundary could be something like allowing yourself to feel your own emotions without taking on someone else's emotions as your own. For example, if a friend is upset, you can empathize with them, but you also acknowledge that their feelings are their own and that you can support them without losing your own emotional balance. It's about maintaining that inner sense of peace and not overextending yourself emotionally.
And what role does self-respect play in setting boundaries?
Self respect is actually at the heart of setting boundaries. When you respect yourself, you recognize your own needs and prioritize them, which helps you establish and maintain those healthy boundaries. It also means that you're valuing yourself enough to say no when needed and to communicate what you're comfortable with. In a way, it's a form of self care that ultimately benefits all your relationships.
And how can someone say no without feeling guilty?
It can definitely be challenging, but a great way to do it is to be kind and firm at the same time. You can acknowledge the other person's request with appreciation And then simply state your boundary clearly and respectfully. It's also helpful to remind yourself that saying no is a healthy choice and that it's okay to prioritize your own needs. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
Are boundaries different for each relationship?
Absolutely. They really are. They help maintain a sense of respect and trust between people. When boundaries are clear, it reduces misunderstandings and conflicts, and it also fosters a healthier dynamic where both individuals feel valued and understood. So, definitely a key ingredient in any strong and lasting relationship.
And what happens when you don't set boundaries?
When boundaries aren't set, can lead to a lot of stress and resentment. You might feel overwhelmed, taken advantage of, or even lose your sense of self because you're constantly putting others' needs ahead of your own. It can also cause relationships to become unbalanced, where one person is giving more than they receive. Ultimately, can erode trust and create a less healthy dynamic. So, boundaries really are essential for overall well being.
And how can you stay true to yourself while maintaining relationships?
Staying true to yourself in relationships is all about balancing your authenticity with respect for the other person. You can do this by being honest about your needs and values and communicating them clearly and respectfully. It's also important to give yourself permission to prioritize your own well being and trust your instincts. And remember, healthy relationships actually thrive when both people feel free to be themselves.
And how can someone handle people who don't respect their boundaries?
That can definitely be tricky, but it helps to stay calm and consistent. You can gently reinforce your boundaries by reminding them of your needs on the reasons behind them. It's also important to be consistent and not to compromise on those boundaries because that can send mixed signals. And if someone continues not to respect them, it might be necessary to limit your interactions or have a more in depth conversation about it.
And can boundaries improve communication?
Absolutely. They really can. When boundaries are clear, it reduces misunderstandings and helps everyone know what to expect, which makes communication smoother and more honest. It also creates a safer space for open and respectful dialogue, and it encourages both parties to express their needs and listen to each other. So, boundaries definitely play a big role in healthier communication.
And how can someone practice self assertiveness?
Practicing self assertiveness is all about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs openly and respectfully. You can start by using I statements like saying I feel or I need to take ownership of your feelings. It's also helpful to practice active listening, maintain good eye contact, and keep your tone calm and confident. And of course, it takes practice and a bit of courage, but over time, it really does get easier.
And how do boundaries build trust?
Boundaries build trust by creating a clear and consistent framework for interaction. When people know what to expect and understand each other's limits, it reduces the chances of misunderstandings or hurt feelings. This consistency shows respect and reliability, which in turn helps both people feel safer and valued. Over time, that fosters a deeper sense of trust and mutual respect.
And what is the difference between a boundary and a wall?
That's a great distinction. A boundary is more about setting limits to protect your well being and maintain healthy interactions, whereas a rule is usually a more rigid guideline that everyone must follow. Boundaries are personal and flexible, adapting to different situations and relationships, while rules are generally more fixed and apply universally. Both have their place. Boundaries are often more about self care and mutual respect.
And can setting boundaries be an act of love?
Absolutely, it can be. Setting boundaries is actually a way of showing respect and care for both yourself and the other person. It helps create a healthier, more honest dynamic where everyone feels valued and understood. So it's definitely an act of love both for yourself and for the people around you.
All right, ChatGPT, thank you. See you in the next session. See you next time. Bye.
You're very welcome. It was great chatting with you. Take care and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you everyone for watching this strategic conversation with me. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye.